All right. And we are live. Well, Ravens fans, I mean, that's the season. That's it. And you guys are in the chat. You guys are here. Kimberly's here. She says she's mad. I'm mad. Ravens worst game ever. Fire Greg Roman and his playbook at 12 p.m. I don't think it was the worst game. I thought I thought it was one of their better games, without Lamar. But this is just what happens when you lack the talent. I thought they played hard. It was a lot closer than I expected it to be. I don't have a lot of criticisms for the players that are out there. We're gonna nitpick the game tomorrow for the roundtable, but I think
criticisms.
yeah, we have criticisms, but I'm not gonna sit here and bash them per se. You can always critique somebody's play, but
I'm gonna bash somebody.
well, yeah, I know you are. We know you are a hater.
No, I'm not a hater. This is a hater right here. Thanks for streaming, Hendo. Which channel do you think you on, Noah? Why are you just hitting copy paste, man?
Well,
get out.
Well, look, shout out to Noah, and I want to bring that up. So there's a lot of people streaming right now. You got Coach Evans, you got Ravens Online on Gatekeepers, right? And our guy OTR Mike, I think he's on there along with Shug. So make sure you are, if you're clicking in and out of videos, make sure you're going to the roundtable approved streams here, okay, if you will. All right. So, and if you don't know who these people are, okay, Sip to Tally Films. That's you go over there, hit the subscribe button over there. All right. And then you got Ravens Online on Gatekeepers. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there streaming. Raven C might be out there streaming. I know Nitro was streaming earlier. He might still be streaming. Of course, you got Engraven who've been streaming. So does Jose? You know what it is? It's the beanie. It's the beanie. I tricked you guys. I don't usually wear a beanie, but I got this. I got this sweet beanie in the mail, and I was like, I gotta rock it for the show. It looks too nice and it feels too comfy. Okay. And if you're wondering, Jose, where did you get that sweet beanie from? LBHTShow.com/shop. Oh, yes. You can get one too. All right. You can't get the Ravens can't get the win, but you can get some LBHT gear.
But you can.
Yes, you can. All right, look. All right, so let's break down this game. First of all, like I said, congratulations to the Bengals, man. If we're being honest, they got lucky. They shouldn't have won that game. All right, they got lucky. But when you have more
stuck the ball up straight in the air. He didn't.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
He didn't get closer than half a yard.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But when you don't have the talent, you have to play perfect football. You have to play perfect football because the other team that has talent, they can make mistakes and they can make it up, right? And then we just didn't play perfect, which you knew that wasn't going to happen with this coaching staff, right? So that was that ultimate demise. And what B's laughing at right now is the Tyler Huntley play, right? You're doing a QB sneak from the 2-yard line, right? And you're trying to stick the ball over the goal line. Like, what are you doing? And he even stick it straight out. He stuck it up, and yeah, right. Both thought he had giraffe arms, couldn't even break the plane. Yeah. Right.
I feel bad for him though. I do. Like I'm laughing because that was a hilarious way to get knocked out of the playoffs. But Huntley I thought played pretty well. Y'all know I'm not a fan of Huntley, but considering his skill level, I thought he did really well.
Yeah. He had the 2 turnovers. The one obviously was the game.
Like, what are you?
I mean,
that was the worst. That was the absolute worst.
Yeah, not only do you fumble it, but they return for a touch. I mean, you're at the goal line
to a defensive. You don't have anybody. Like, I bet you wish you didn't cut Deshaun Jackson now. You don't have a single person who could run down a defensive end named Sam Hubbard.
Right. I mean,
come on, man.
Look, that was the game. Because had we scored there, the Bengals probably don't get another touchdown, for being honest.
Yeah.
The Ravens defense really showed up, right? I mean, we put a lot into this defense, and they balled out. And if we get the lead late like that, I mean, I would think that they wouldn't give another touchdown, but we don't know for sure. But like the way they were playing in that game, I wouldn't have expected the Bengals to go down the field and score, right?
Right.
But the one mistake, a bad play call, bad move by Tyler Huntley, and they gave the touchdown, and that was it.
That wasn't it though. That wasn't it, because they had a chance at the end.
No, they had chances, but that was it.
Had,
like there's no more points.
They had a chance at the end. They had the ball, with a few minutes left, and they were driving, and they kind of stalled out. But they had a fourth down play where Huntley looked like he was about to fall over backwards, like he'd never seen pressure before. That was weird, but he collected himself. He didn't fall. He didn't pull a Kyle Bowler or a David Carr in his Carolina days. He got his balance.
Cousins.
Yeah, he threw a pass. He threw a pretty good pass considering into the end zone, and he got tipped. And I swear to God, like I was watching, and it looked like it was falling gently into the hands of a receiver who has never dropped anything in his life
ever.
Really, and then it just went right through and hit the turf, and I don't know what happened. Like, was it a mirage? Was he not there? Because that couldn't have been James Prochet.
It couldn't have been. Listen,
that could not have been James Prochet.
I was ready to jump out. I was in bed, with my girl, with my son. They're on their phones and tablets and stuff, and I'm watching the game. I was ready to jump out, grab that Channel 3 hoodie, and just hit live. No titles or nothing. The title just been. That's what all I said in the title. I was ready to hulk up on here. Prochet.
But Prochet, honestly, he looked like he didn't want to be out there the whole night. And by the whole night, I mean on the punt returns. Like he was just jogging straight out of bounds every time he got the ball. You had the chance to save your team's season. There were no defenders around him. It was just him and the ball. He got both hands on it and just not even close to catching it. It just went straight through.
Look, man, when you get to the playoffs, regular season too, and when you're getting close to the playoffs, but when you're in the playoffs, talent matters.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing. First of all, you're not going to out coach another team that's stacked full of talent, right? Talent matters in the end. We don't have a coaching staff that can just. There's no Bill Belichick here. There's no Doug Peterson over here. Okay, we had John Harbaugh and Greg Roman, and look, Lamar couldn't play. He was hurt. We'll talk about that in a minute. But outside of that, what were you expecting Tyler Huntley to do with Prochet, with Andy Isabella? I was shocked that Demarcus Robinson was that wide open.
It's funny. I was, good for DeMarcus that he caught it, because there was a play earlier. I believe it was in the end zone where Huntley threw it, and it was like right off to his side, and he literally put his hands out like this. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Like, I don't know. Maybe just extend your arms and try to catch the ball.
Yeah.
I loved hearing the announcers though on that towards the end when they were like, Isabella and Prochet lined up to the top of your screen. They hardly ever play.
Right.
They're in there on the biggest drive of the season now. It's incredible.
Hey, shout out to Black Daniels. Black Daniels, we saw you on the stream the other night, man. Salute to you. Yes. Okay. Salute to the brother Black Daniels. He says talent matters. New shirt alert. Hey. Yeah. Okay. All right. Danny, what's going on, Danny? She says Prochet's shoulders should have popped trying to catch that ball. Reach for your life. Hey, when you don't get wide receivers involved the whole year, when you tell them they don't matter, right? In big moments, you can't expect them to play big. What do they care?
They didn't tell them they don't matter. They said they need an opportunity. They said we gonna let the young guys cook.
Yeah.
And all James can cook is cereal, apparently.
They said cook on that easy bake oven. Okay, that's what they said. Don't go to the real kitchen. Let's see. Swell Zung or whatever over in Twitch. I know.
Yeah.
I was say, yeah, thank you, but we're not interested, sir. All right, but thank you for joining the stream. Was he trying to sell us?
He wants to
He's trying to sell
promote
something.
us.
Oh, I thought you were trying to sell some forex or some Bitcoin or something. Let's read some of these. Let's read some of these comments. Jonathan Washington Jr. says, again, we've been shown it don't matter how much money and talent you invest in the defense, it will never be enough if you don't have an offense that can put up points. I didn't see much of Roquan today. Roquan was out there.
He was out there, but I mean, you're not going to see much of him when they're throwing to Jamar Chase.
He had an opportunity to really blow up Joe Burrow, and he just missed him. He just missed him. That
that'll happen.
Yeah. But yeah, he was there.
Joe Burrow was shifty.
Yeah, the defense played well overall, right? But yes, when you got somebody like Jamar Chase, like he's gonna get his, and you just gotta be prepared for that. Let's see. Noah says, so many times I sat thinking if Lamar was in here, we win this game. No, you didn't, Noah. You've been so hard on Lamar this year. Like you would have thought that Tyler Huntley was better, was the better quarterback. Like, come on, man. Don't go back and forth like that, yo. Like the criticism you have of Lamar, I mean, just be consistent with what you're saying,
Just let the lion roar, man. Y'all are on the up and up over there, all right?
Oh, shout out to Dan. Dan says, could that play maybe get heads to roll? Greg Roman, yeah.
Just Huntley.
I think Greg Roman was already on his way out, right?
Possibly.
So, but yeah, I mean, Greg Roman did not have a good game. The play calling was not.
What are you talking about? I mean, the first time ever with Greg Roman, they had running backs go over 10 carries.
I mean, that first interception that Tyler Huntley threw, why are you throwing the ball? They're running the ball so well. And you're like, okay, let's just pass it here. Every time they get into the red zone, this has been a problem all season. Every time you get to the red zone, you don't know what to do. It's like you just ran out of playbook.
3rd and 1 where they handed the ball off to Mark Andrews instead of J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards. Why?
Well, no, wait, in the red zone or by the goal line?
I don't remember if it was in the red zone or not. I don't think it was.
Are you talking about the one they handed? That wasn't Andrews. That was Ricard, wasn't it?
No, it was Andrews.
When they were in shotgun?
No, they weren't in shotgun. There was a play where they handed the ball off to Andrews, and he got hit in the backfield by 2 guys and he got dropped. It was a 3rd and 1. I can't remember exactly. I think it was earlier in the game. I can't remember where they were on the field at the time.
So we're talking about there's 2 different plays in because there was one. It was 3rd and 1, and we go in the shotgun, and then they hand the ball off to Ricard. And of course, he doesn't get it. Like, what are you doing?
Why would he?
Right. So
there was another play in the red zone where they threw it to Ricard as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, listen, he put in more effort to catch it than Prochet did on that game winner.
Yeah. NDT Sports says if we had Lamar Jackson, we would have blown the Bengals out. Yeah,
y'all need to erase that from your vocabulary because you ain't gonna have Lamar ever again.
Well, so that's gonna be
so don't even worry about what Lamar would have done.
Hey, listen. We gonna talk his trash now because he's hoping and praying that the Panthers, possibly inquire about him. But I don't see it happening.
Where even if he doesn't end up in Carolina, I don't think he's going back to Baltimore.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think so either. But I'm not gonna completely shut the door on that, right?
Yeah.
But
because all it takes is Steve Bisciotti to say, you know what, I will give you your money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what it is. And is it Andrew or Andy Rue? It says the game was so winnable. Roman and Huntley blew it. Defense did more than enough to win. No, they didn't do enough. They didn't win.
Right.
That's how it goes, right? I hear what you're saying, but
when the offense scores 27 and you're like, oh man, they should have done more. Well, okay, they did enough to win, but we blame them anyway, right? So no, the defense didn't do enough to win. You know whose defense did enough to win? Cincinnati's defense did enough to win because they forced a turnover and ran it back for a touchdown and won the game.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense did enough to win.
You had to do more than just hold them to field goals. when you're putting everything on the defense's back, they have to make plays like they made, like the Bengals made. You know, what turnovers did we? We had a one turnover from Hamilton in the game, and that was big
because Hayden Hurst is pure garbage.
Yeah, Mr. J says, "Hey Jose, are you still going to rep Prochet hoodie after today? You bet you. Hey, I mean, can I get a refund on it? No, then you'll see me wear it, my friend."
when you cutting that grass, yeah. Or when you got to paint or something.
I actually like the hoodie. I mean, it's a nice design. It's comfortable. Hey,
yeah, but you ain't gonna let somebody else see you wearing it.
Yeah, I'll wear it. There's no hate over here. There's no hate. All right, let's read a couple more comments here, man. Everybody's here, man. I did not miss your comment, Kimberly. You're the first comment. We read it. You know what happened, Kimberly? You hopped out of the stream. You left. We caught you. See?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got her.
Shout out to Your Motivation. Your Motivation says Harbaugh is an absolute coward. Couldn't even shake the hand at the end of the game.
At the end.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, they walked up. It was real quick. They shook hands.
Yeah. Andre said alligator armed it. Talking about Prochet. What's up, Tracy? Tracy says didn't run JK more. Time management horrible. Time management was awful. And OC definitely needs to go. Off season will be eventful to say the least. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it wasn't as awful as Miami's time management. Because oh my God.
Yeah. Who called Prochet a speed threat?
One of the announcers. They called him a burner.
You know, that's what happens when you don't know who somebody is and they get on the field. You just gotta say something, right? I get it.
It was like Bradshaw when he's talking about Miami. He's like, oh yeah, you know, they got draft picks. Oh, they ain't got no draft picks, Harry. League took them picks.
Oh man. Okay. All right. DeAndre said 3-yard QB sneak. Yeah, it was a 2 or 3 yards. It was far. Because when the play ran, I was like, man, he stretched out pretty far. No way he didn't get it. And then when they showed the replay, I was like, he's like 1.5 yards short.
But it wasn't a yard and a half. It was 0.6 yards.
Oh, it was 0.6 yards. He wasn't even
close. Because the next gen stats account tweeted out that according to the chip in the football, it was 0.6 yards. That was the closest he got. And every single comment under there was like, oh, there's a chip in the ball? Like, why are you still using chains?
What's up, Shug? We don't shut up. You shut up. Hey, thanks for coming through.
Aren't you supposed to be on a stream right now, Shug? Get the hell out.
I bet you he is. We're going to go over. You know what? Somebody go over to Hendo's stream, see if Shug's in there. If he's in there, snitch on him. Say, Shug, pay attention to being on that stream. Don't be in other people's streams. We are streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay, in case you were wondering, we got 76 people in here. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you are new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If there are any Bengals fans in here, congratulations to you guys. You got the win. And even though Lamar did not play, division rivalry games, especially in the playoffs, are tough games, right? So, you did what you needed to do to win. It was a good win, and you guys go to play Buffalo next week. I'm curious to see what they thought about the Bengals' performance. I don't think they particularly played well overall, but
they didn't look good.
No.
But you know what? Neither did Buffalo. Buffalo looked bad today.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So, I mean, that'll be an interesting game next week. Shout out to Tanja. Tanja says Greg Roman was horrible in the red zone. He lets your backup throw 3 times instead of running it with Gus or JK. Yeah. And at this point, I understand it with JK. They got him on a pitch count, right? But what about Gus?
Or Justice
or Kenyon Drake? Why aren't you running the ball? And if you
Kenyon
don't trust,
was inactive.
Okay,
he don't get to play.
But okay, so that leads me to another question: why you keep bringing in people that you don't really believe in?
Yeah,
there's a lot of roster spots on here filled with people who week in and week out could be on a roster or could just be inactive, right? Or cut and then we bring back later, or place on IR, because there's nothing wrong with Tylan Wallace. They still, they just want to bring up somebody else. So why is this roster continuously filled with players like that? Right? Like every team has some players like that, but there's an overwhelming amount of players like that on this team that we put in game time situations where we need them to make a play.
Yeah.
Right? Those are the players that are supposed to be out there.
Again, it's as I always said, they are the Ravens are lazy when it comes to player acquisition.
Yeah.
You know, they find a few guys that they like and they just rotate them on through.
They threw a fade of a card.
Like, why did you pick up Sammy Watkins? He had one catch for 12 yards tonight.
Right.
That was fewer catches than Justice Hill.
Chatty Sammy.
Fewer catches than Josh Oliver.
That's his new name, Chatty Sammy. Talking too much. What's up, Phantom? Phantom Cyborg says, what do we make of MP's performance tonight? I don't think he did poorly, but relative to the rest of the defense, he stood out like a sore thumb early with the Mixon thing early on. Yeah, it was a you know, he got a little excited at the beginning, got that personal foul. But overall, I thought he did fine. Right.
I mean, I don't think he did particularly well. Now, I mean, you're talking about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Like it's a tough assignment, but you know, he hasn't played well all season. I don't think he played particularly well tonight, and I don't think he's going to be there come next season.
Yeah, he's probably gone. He's probably gone.
And you're the oldest guy probably on. I mean, outside of like Calais, you're the oldest guy on that defense. You can't make that mistake with Joe Mixon that he made.
Yeah,
you know, you're supposed to be like everybody likes to say he's the real high IQ player, right? Mm-hmm. And you can't lose your head. Like it was one thing when he was doing that when he was young in Kansas City. You know, he had a kind of a reputation as a hothead and everything, and that's what got him out of there. But you're an old guy. You're an older guy now, right?
Yeah. You
can't keep on doing that, especially when you aren't making those game changing plays like you used to make.
Yeah, I agree. G-Star. He says we could have used Deshaun Jackson. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think they were planning on bringing him back. Right? They're making one of those roster moves where, hey, we're gonna cut you now and then we're gonna bring you back. He's like, no, I'm not for that. I'm good. Don't call me. Lose my number. Right? Yeah, we could have used. I mean, we could have used Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, we could have used a legit starting caliber wide receiver out there. Anything. But this is why talent is so important. They came close. Look, they gambled, right? We talk about how Lamar took a gamble on himself, right? Harbaugh, EDC, Steve Bisciotti, they took a gamble on themselves too. They said we don't actually need Lamar Jackson to win. We can win without him, and we can get it done our way. And we're going to show everybody. You were close, right? You were close to winning a playoff game without Lamar Jackson, and that'd have been huge for those pundits, for those talking heads.
Oh yeah,
right?
the heat on Lamar to play next week would have turned up 1,000% if they won this game. You know,
yeah.
But you didn't, because you know why you didn't, because you came up short in the times and the areas where a star would have made the plays for you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, and I'm even looking at their receiving core, because I mean, like I said, Huntley had a pretty decent night for Huntley. He had 17 for 29, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But the two biggest plays of the night, the touchdown to Demarcus Robinson and then the almost 30-yarder to Mark Andrews, were just the result of busted coverage. Well, I shouldn't call the Demarcus one busted coverage. That was just Eli Apple coverage. But Mark Andrews, they didn't even bother to cover him on that play.
Yeah.
You know?
And Chips Ahoy Chewy says, Harbaugh, a poopy brain. Thank you for your contribution. Appreciate that. Solomon Reed says, why do we even question Greg's decision at this point? Yeah, you know why? Because he always finds creative ways for you to just scratch your head and be like, why'd you do that? You know, like it's always these plays in these moments where you're just like, you're not creative. He's not creative with his play calling.
Yeah.
Right. He's not creative, but the things that are working, they work, and there's no need to switch up. Right. Like you got Gus running the ball well, you got JK running the ball well, and you're just running down their throats. like outside zone. That I was in Coach Evans' stream, and he kept on saying, just keep doing the outside zone. They can't do anything about it, and they couldn't. Why aren't you doing stuff that works until it doesn't work? Right? You remember? I mean, this is a while ago, but it was it Flacco's first year? Was his rookie year? We went to New England, and we have and all we did, Flacco threw the ball like 4 times. And all we did was just run the ball, Ray Rice. The very first handoff, it was like a 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you can't stop that? We're just going to keep running it. And Ray Rice just kept running the ball, and they couldn't do anything about it. And that's just how we won the game. And sometimes that's all you need to do. If the other team can't do anything about it, right? Because they don't have a great coach over there either.
Then you don't need to do anything about it.
You don't need to do anything about it. So why are you switching up? And you switching it up with these exotic play calls that you've never run before. These guys aren't going to execute that.
Yeah.
Right. So like you're taking yourself out of the game. Harbaugh was looking dumb on the sideline, never questioning Roman. I mean, you're not going to do that, right then and there, but I'm sure in the locker room, behind closed doors in the meetings, whatever.
Some coaches will. Like, if you don't do it right then and there, you go home for the rest of the year, right?
Yeah.
So
Brandon Staley should have done that. Yeah.
Brandon Staley should have done that.
So look, we criticize Harbaugh, we criticize Greg Roman, but me and B constantly say they're not the worst coaches out there, right? You guys will swear Greg Roman is the worst thing walking the face of the earth. I want you to imagine how Chargers fans feel right now. Okay.
Up 27-0.
We know what Chargers fan
on a team on a team whose quarterback threw 4 interceptions and who had 5 turnovers total and lost the game.
And the Chargers had 0 turnovers. And they won the time of possession. That seems impossible when you think about it.
Danny, I see what you're saying. It's not the curse of Anthony Lynn. This has been going on with the Chargers for a lot longer than Anthony Lynn.
Which one are you looking at?
Danny.
I'm a little further up. There you go. Oh yeah. Look, if this is what you're going to replace him with, you might as well have stuck with Anthony Lynn. At least Anthony Lynn got you a playoff win.
But it's been going on a lot longer than Anthony Lynn.
Yeah.
With the Chargers, they find the most unbelievable ways to lose games. That's why I told people, what happened with Tyler Huntley was just a glimpse of the Ravens Chargers-esque future without Lamar, because that's how the Chargers lose games on the regular.
Yeah. All right, 100 people in here. Go ahead and smash that like button. If you are new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, man. It is midnight and you rocking with us. This is actually early for us on the it's Sunday, but on a weekend, compared to when we had the stream for USC fights. Right.
Have not seen the JK quotes. Go ahead and put them in the chat if you got them.
Oh no, I didn't see what he said. I did not see what he said. Y'all see JK quotes? Yes, put them in there and let us know. Yeah, identity. Yeah, they should have just stuck with Lynn. But you don't stick. Lynn's not a good coach. You don't stick with Lynn. You fire him and you hire a good coach. Okay, you failed. Now you fire Staley and you hire somebody else. You don't stick with the bad coach. Yeah. I think they stuck with Staley too long.
This is his third year.
So what? This is his first year making the playoffs. I would have fired him after last year, because you're not going to go from we were in the playoffs, right? And then we get a rookie quarterback, right? That's going to be our franchise quarterback, because we moved on from Philip Rivers. Get our franchise quarterback, and we're going backwards, right? We're not making the playoffs. Like first year, okay, it's your first year here, all right, but next year we have all the pieces in place. We were already a playoff caliber team. We have a quarterback that's ready to go. You can't make the playoffs.
They weren't in the playoffs with Lynn the last couple of years. They missed the playoffs the last 2 years with Lynn, and then after
they got rid of Philip Rivers.
But as I'm saying, they were 5-11 and 7-9 under Lynn his last 2 years, and they were 9-8 and 10-7 with Staley. So I mean, is this his second year?
It's third.
But no, this is only showing. This is showing that this is a second. I'm not sure what.
Oh, you know what? No. This is a second year. You're right. This is because is this Herbert's third year or fourth year?
This is his third year.
This is Herbert's third year. All right, because
Yeah.
Anthony Lynn had him for 1 year, right?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, he's been 9-8 and 10-7. It's just, look.
Thank you, Ferris. Yeah, this is year two. Yeah.
Staley came in and he was very, very aggressive, and in terms of going forward on fourth down. And I agree with most of those decisions. Like, being aggressive is the way to go. Most of the time, you're going to win being aggressive and going forward on fourth down, because the defense just isn't going to be able to stop you in those short yardage situations. Yeah. Now, what happened with him is a couple times it didn't go their way. And then he got a lot of criticism over the offseason. And then the next year, this year, he kind of tried to walk that back and be more conservative. Like, he lost his identity, and he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. And just the way they lost this game, you can't come back.
No,
you just can't.
You can't. Here you go, Ferris. Go ahead. Talk your trash, Ferris. I remember when y'all faced the Giants, y'all did whatever y'all wanted in the run game, but then y'all stopped. That's how y'all lost. If y'all don't know, Ferris is a Giants fan, and congratulations to the Giants who won today, beat the Vikings. Yeah, but you're right. That is how we lost. It's just bad coaching going on. But
wait, hold on. What did JK say?
He said that we would have won if Lamar was there.
Lamar.
I gotta hear this, right? I mean, yes, that's true.
But this is also true.
Yes. I mean,
that's JK out of pocket if he said that.
I mean, you can't. I mean, come on, man. Like, we all know that, but I mean, he's gonna throw Tyler under the bus like that.
Because look, again, I'm not a Tyler Huntley fan, but my man was out. He was playing as hard as he could. He was playing his heart out, and you just gonna throw him under the bus like that right after the game? JK, you had what, 70-some yards?
Well, I mean, listen, if Tyler wanted to be petty, he'd be like, yeah, we could have won if JK had two knees.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not like JK went out there and put on the performance of a lifetime. That's not,
Now, let me be clear, man. Every time JK touched that ball, he was making magic happen. JK is a different person after that injury. Yeah, he's not 100% though. But the way he's running now,
he had a little over 100 yards in the receiving touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, that's cool, but that's not enough.
Yeah, look, man. I mean, I get you're frustrated, man, but so I mean, is that more of he's mad at Tyler Huntley, or they mad that Lamar didn't play?
Well, I'm sure it's the latter. I'm sure he doesn't mean to. I'm sure he's not trying to throw Tyler Huntley under the bus, but that's how it comes across, and that's how people are going to take it.
Yeah, and you're right. If Lamar's out there, you would have won, but get used to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, King. JK was your best weapon, and he did his job. But Tyler did his job too. Like I said, it's not like JK was out there carrying. Y'all scored 17 points.
Right.
It's not like he was out there dominating. He had 100 yards. That's cool. 100 total yards, not 100 yards rushing. 100 total yards, and that's great. But it's not like he was out there, and being unstoppable or something. He wasn't. He wasn't in a place where he can look at somebody else and point the finger and be like, "Yo, we lost because that dude."
Yeah, look. A shout out to Re SSD says, "What y'all talking about? 62 yards on 13. Nixon had 37 or something on 11. What are you talking about?"
Okay.
I'm not sure what your point is. He needs the ball to do so though. Yeah, but he didn't have the ball. Like,
and that's been his whole career. Right. He's had one game where he's carried the ball more than 15 yards. So go talk to Greg Roman. Don't talk about Lamar. Don't talk about Tyler. Go talk to your coach.
Right. That's the point, right? Like, it doesn't matter the reason why he didn't carry the team, right? We didn't say he played bad. He played well, but he didn't play enough. And you could tell us, hey, he needs the ball more. They should have schemed some more plays. We agree with all that.
Yeah.
Fact is, he didn't do it.
I mean, I've been telling y'all from episode 1 of this show that Gus is nothing special and they need to just give the ball to JK. Mm-hmm. But they don't believe that. So don't get mad at Tyler Huntley for doing everything that Tyler Huntley could do. and start talking about, oh man, if Lamar was out there, we win this game. Go talk to John and Greg about why they don't give you the ball enough when you're clearly what makes that offense go when Lamar's not out there.
I mean, further, take it further than that, right? This is a team that they built. This is not we were just, we were crushed by injuries outside of quarterback, obviously, right? But even with that position, they have led a portion of this fan base to believe that they don't need Lamar, that they can win, they can get by with Tyler Huntley. That this isn't the Baltimore Lamar Jacksons. This is the Baltimore Ravens, right? And this was going to be the game that they're going to prove it, and they came close, but they didn't win because they didn't have Lamar Jackson.
And it doesn't matter if he was lying. Listen, Lamar could come up to that podium every single week and say Greg Roman's a goddamn moron. He wouldn't be lying, but you can't do that.
Right. You don't do that to teammates.
No.
Right? Like Tyler Huntley didn't sit there and say, y'all shouldn't start Lamar, you should start me. Right? Lamar got hurt. He's out there doing the best he can. Right? And this team did not put them in a position to win. Right? Or the best position to win. I mean, they had a chance, but they didn't put them in the best position to win. This could have been a blowout without Lamar, the way the Bengals played. Right? But you gave the offense nothing to work with.
Like, imagine what Ravens fans would say if Lamar went to the podium every single week and was like, I don't know what you want me to do. Tylan Wallace is trash.
Right.
Like, he wouldn't be lying. I don't know how you expect me to do better. You got me throwing to James Prochet and Pat Ricard. He wouldn't be lying, but what if he said for saying that?
What if he said that last year? It's like, yo, what do you want me to do? After he lost to the Bills, what do you want me to do? JK can't catch. He's dropping every pass that I throw to him. He's dropping the ball left and right. Y'all forgot about that, right? Y'all hated J.K. Dobbins last year. He can't catch. He sucks. He's got stone hands. That's what y'all was saying, right? Like J.K. got short-term memory too, right? That's why you keep your mouth shut.
Oh, fans were saying that about J.K. earlier this year, talking about when he went back on IR, they're like, oh, J.K.'s done. Get him out.
Facts. Okay, let's read a couple more comments in here. We got 111 people in here. Go ahead and smash that like button.
Who was the other one? Like, we haven't seen the comments. Who was the other one he threw on his bus?
Oh yeah. Let us know. Come on, Iceberg Slim says the coaching was atrocious as always. Yeah. Haas on the beat says Prochet missed his chance for being a hero. I know, Haas. Oh man, I was so ready to rock that Channel 3 hoodie. I was about to go on there and buy some more gear. Boy, he had a shot to be the hero, but didn't happen. Serotonin Light says Prochet has only caught 8 passes all year. How embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the Prochet truthers out there. We told you that he wasn't anything special. Again, it's not disrespect. We don't disrespect players. Every time we give an opinion, that's not us hating. That's not us disrespecting. We're telling you our opinion, and we were right. And that was the easiest thing to get right. Shout out to Marco G for a $2 donation. Says, ain't gonna lie, this hurts a lot. We had the Bengals. Yep, it seems like we saved our heartbreaking, brutal turnovers for the playoffs. Why put your backup QB in that situation? Give it to JK. Our biggest threat was never Bills, Bengals, or Chiefs. It's coaching. Yes, absolutely. We hold ourselves back. It's coaching. It's front office. It's all of that. It's all of that because we had to play perfect, and you're asking players who some of them aren't even starting caliber players to go out there and execute perfectly for 4 quarters.
Right.
What's going on? Add to Pop says, yo, what up, LBHT? Lamar somewhere laughing right now. I don't think Lamar's laughing. Like Lamar, Lamar, he's a businessman, but he's a competitor, and he's built a lot of relationships in those locker rooms. I think he did want to go out there and play. I think he wanted them to win. Right. And I'm sure it hurts, but he'll feel better in the offseason because he absolutely he won this. Shout out to Coach. I know, Coach. I knew you were streaming.
Welcome, Coach.
I know you were streaming. if you're still streaming over there, we told everybody, as you go in and out of streams, only click on the roundtable approved channels. Okay, one of them being Sip2 Tally Films, one of them being Hando's channel, Ravens Online Ungatekeepers, Raven C, Engraven. People like that. All right, don't go, strolling off to some random person that's streaming about the Ravens. Okay, only roundtable approved channels. All right, that way you get the good content.
As the D said, Harbaugh said, we felt we had a good call, the QB sneak. It wasn't executed well, and on the final drive, I think the thing that killed us was the holding penalty. Damn, John. You know what? Look, I'll say this though: if John gonna go like that, yeah, go right back at him, I guess, because that's dirty. Trying to put that on Tyler.
It wasn't executed well.
It was a bad call.
It was a bad call. Like, what? I mean, yeah, I want to stress it out like that, but he wasn't anywhere near the goal line.
No, but that's a solid thing to do if you're by the goal line where you would normally call a quarterback sneak, because all it has to do is touch the plane, and then it's a touchdown. It doesn't matter if you drop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for putting the quotes in there. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
But when you're far away, you can't do that because it gives the defense the opportunity to get in there and try and knock it out. And like Collinsworth was saying, he was crushing them on air right when it happened. I think it was Collinsworth, because he said, if you're going to do that, why do you have all the players, the running backs and everybody in behind him as if they're there to push him? Because the entire defense is just going to pack the middle to try and push back. If you spread them out and those linebackers and those guys aren't there, then you can maybe get the stretch and get it over the plane. But you don't pack the middle like that and then try to jump up and stretch it out from that far away.
Yeah. Blunts and Otter says moment was a little too big for Prochet. Man, we don't need to crush Prochet, man. Like,
yes, look, we do.
We don't need it would have been heroic if he did it, but again, I mean, what did you guys expect from Prochet? Like, we don't need to say anything about him.
Oh, right? They expected a lot from Prochet.
At this point in the game, that's shame on you, right? What's up, Josh Hoffman? Thanks for coming through. Says, speaking of Wallace, how are we going to break Ravens fans of the idea that every time we don't have wide receivers, it's an opportunity for the young guys every other year with that? Stop it, Ravens fans. It'll be the same thing next year. Look, it's a coping mechanism. When you know your team isn't going to do certain things that we need, you try to reason with maybe this can work out, or if this happens, or if we get lucky, it could work out. I do it too.
No, look, that's not it. You know how you break the Ravens fans of that? It's exactly what you said, what you always say. It's get rid of Lamar. Let Lamar walk and bring somebody in who can't do what Lamar can do, because then you'll have wide receivers real quick. You don't have wide receivers right now because they can look at Lamar and say,
that's the
organization. We're just going to leave on.
That's an organization. No, that's organization.
But the fans take their cue from the organization. The organization was the one out there saying, "Oh, we like our young guys. Oh, we're going to give these young guys the opportunity."
Yeah, but I'm just explaining the mentality behind it. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm saying, and you break them of that by not having a player like Lamar Jackson and forcing them to do their jobs and actually get wide receivers.
Oh yeah. Well, let me read this from Buck real quick. Shout out to Buck for the $3.33 donation. Says,
thank you,
if the ball hits your hand, you catch the damn ball. Laughing his ass off at Prochet. Hey,
I mean, listen, we all watched Marquise drop a whole bunch of passes in Arizona. I don't want to. We don't want to go, and y'all didn't make the playoffs, so maybe take that back to your locker room. Y'all won like 4 games.
Y'all needed that advice plus a little bit more advice to get to where we were at. Yes, what it's going to take, and I think what will happen if Lamar does not come back. We're just going to be a worse team because you can't get a quarterback that's better than Lamar out there.
Devon, yes, they have. They went out, they got Derek Mason. They went out, they got Anquan Bolden. They went out, they got Steve Smith. They went out and they got Mike Wallace. Now, these aren't top guys, except for Anquan. They're not top guys in the league, but they were legitimate starting wide receivers Good wide receiver.
Much better than anything we had now, right?
Yeah.
Much better, yeah. But yeah, back to what I was saying though, right? Like Lamar, Lamar goes. You can't get you're going to be worse at quarterback next year, no matter what you do. There's nothing you can do to get a comparable or better quarterback. What?
Sammy Darnold.
Yeah, right.
We got Sam Darnold for you right there. We got Sam Darnold and the number 9 overall pick. Take your pick, man. Whichever one.
But my point is, like, when you whoever they replace him with, yeah, it's going to be a downgrade. They understand that, and that's going to be that, Harbaugh, if he's still here, back against the wall, like, hey, I got to go out there and get some talent around this guy. Otherwise, we're going to look awful, right? And I'll be fired before the season's end. So yeah, they'll hustle to get some talent in there then. But then that just goes to show you that they knew the whole time what they were working with, right? And that's why I call them lazy. I call Harbaugh lazy, and I call EDC lazy, because they know exactly what they're working with out there. They just don't care because Lamar was doing enough. But Lamar sitting out these games because he's hurt, they're showing the true colors. Like they're mad, right? They're mad at him because they're like, yo, you're gonna make us look bad. Now we gotta go out there and do our jobs, right? And we've seen this B has been saying this from the beginning. Harbaugh, when he knows it's a big game, he's going to coach them up to the best of their ability, right? But any other time, he doesn't get them ready week in and week out, right? And he has somebody in Lamar that could just do enough to win these games and stroll into the playoffs, right? Shout out to KP for a $1 donation. It says, JK definitely requesting a trade.
Lucky for y'all, he would not even be the best available running back this offseason. So
he's not going anywhere. There's a ton of running backs coming into the draft.
Well, and Josh Jacobs is available, and teams don't value running backs like y'all. That's my favorite part about Baltimore is when the Ravens fans start talking about how great their running backs are, and then they eventually realize that nobody else gives a damn.
Yeah. Shout out to Marco G for a $2 donation. Says, I didn't like the fact that Lamar didn't even travel to support his team on the sideline for a playoff game. He could have elevated his knee and iced it on the plane. Don't think it would have gotten worse unless he's done with the team. That's different. Maybe he's done with the team.
But guys don't really travel if they're hurt. Like, they don't do that. Like, you can't put expectations on him that are out of the ordinary. I mean, that's he's at home, he's getting treatment.
Thank you. Coach said right there, injured players don't travel.
Yeah.
So there it is. Yeah, and listen to Coach. Hit that like button. Okay. Hit that like button. Over 100 people in here. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us this late after a Ravens loss. I know you guys wanted to get off your chest, man. Yes, Danny, 111 people in the chat. Hit that like button. Kings and queens. Indeed. Salute. And if you guys are wondering, if you're new here and you're wondering, how does Microphone Man, how did he get that animation and that donation in? Okay, there's 2 ways we do that. This is how we do our super chats over here, right below B, $ LBHTShow. That is the Cash App. Also, the pin link that you see in the comment in the chat box will take you to our stream element. Both ways, leave your donation, leave your comment, and Microphone Man will salute you. All right, appreciate y'all. Haas says Harps is a special teams coach. When has a special teams coach been good at his job as a head coach? They need offensive minded or defensive minded coach. I don't think that this qualifies him from being a good head coach.
No, I mean, listen. Again, he's won a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Let's not take everything away from him because things have gone poorly recently. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach, but I think a lot of times time's just up. It's time to move on. I've always been a big fan of Ron Rivera. I love Ron Rivera. I think he's a great guy. The players love him, and he does a pretty good job. Taking bad teams and making them into respectable teams and good teams, competitive teams. But by the time he got fired in Carolina, it was just time to go.
No,
it wasn't even that he was doing anything worse or different or anything. It was just you've been there too long, and it just wasn't working anymore in that situation.
Yeah. And shout out to Addy. Appreciate you coming through. Says, let J.K. Dobbins cook. Yes, indeed. And shout out to KP for another $1 donation. Says, I heard planes. What did it say? I heard planes.
Worsen inflammation.
Yes.
That I don't know. But like I said, injured players don't travel with the team regardless.
Yeah, and that's probably a reason why, right? You don't know, once you get up in the air, what could happen.
Also, you probably don't want the players who are playing in the game to come off the field and say, if that guy was playing, we would have won.
Yeah. If you were in here, DeAndre says they want Lamar to limp up and down the sideline all day so they can stick a camera in his face. Yeah. So here's the thing. Lamar is hurt. Okay. He came out and told you what's going on with him. He said he was trying hard to get back out there. He couldn't make it. Get back out there. That's coming from Lamar. Anybody else saying anything else, it's irrelevant unless it's coming from his doctor.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what Ian Rappaport says. It doesn't matter what these clowns on Fox Sports say. It doesn't matter what Dr. Michael Vick and Dr. Sean Payton and Dr. Charles Woodson, MD, say, right? They're not Lamar's doctor. And if Lamar says, I can't go, I've tried to get back out there, I want to be out there, I can't go, then that's what it is. If you believe it's something else, if you believe he's holding out, then your anger should be directed towards the Baltimore Ravens. They're the ones that put everybody in this position. They're the ones that decided not to pay their star quarterback. They're the ones that decided we're not going to put any talent around that star quarterback. They put the Baltimore Ravens, that team, in that position. So no matter how you feel about it, it's their fault. It's the front office's fault. It's the coaching staff's fault. It's not Lamar's fault. Because even if he was able to just throw a brace on there, like Michael Vick said, and go out there and play, and he hurt himself even worse, what happens to his money this offseason? Are the Ravens going to say we're gonna sign you anyway, or are they going to say we're gonna pass on that? Shout out to Serotonin Light for subscribing. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
By the way, what Vic didn't tell you, because Vic was out there. I went and played on the brace in, what was it, 2005? I went out there and played on the brace. What he didn't tell you was he got paid the year previously, the year prior to that. $100 million. He left that part out,
which at the time was a very big deal.
It was the highest. He was the highest paid quarterback ever.
And and it was his second $100 million contract.
Right. So he left that part out when he said, I went out there and played on that. But we know what it is with Michael Vick, man. He got tap dance to keep his squeaky clean rep after everything he's done. So it is what it is. I'm disappointed in Charles Woodson though. And Sean Payton has always been a dirtbag. Sean Payton, who paid players to hurt quarterbacks out there, stand on his high horse. All right, let's read a couple more comments here because I can go on and on about these clowns. And Rob says they try to treat Lamar like a running back who can throw, except he's a quarterback that can run. Yes, they definitely would have ran him tonight on a bum knee. Yeah, it's lazy coaching. It's lazy coaching. And when they don't have Lamar next year, or if they don't have Lamar next year, they're not going to run it back with Tyler Huntley. They're going to have to try to get somebody else. And whoever they get won't be as athletic, probably won't be as athletic as Tyler Huntley. That means they're going to have to change the system, which means they're not even going to try to bring back
Jimmy Richardson.
Yeah, but I'm like, they're not even going to try to change. They're not even going to try to pretend it's something else. They're going to just say, Greg Roman, you're out of here. Shout out to Anonymous, says, greetings, LBHT. What was say is
Mr. J on the clock now. Talking about Lamar.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Yes, he is on the clock. More to the point, Eric DaCosta and Steve Bisciotti are on the clock in terms of, hey, they have X number of days to meet his demands, or it's going down the franchise road and possibly a trade demand.
Yeah. Adi, this is a great point. He says it's a little discouraging that $55 million of our annual cap space is going to a corner, safety, and inside linebacker. Like, yes, they're all really good, but I don't think that's the formula. We could get rid of all of them.
Well, one of those is okay. It's okay to pay your corners. Like the corners are very important. You don't need to be paying your safeties and middle linebackers like that.
Yes, yes, corners are important, but if we had to free up the space to pay Lamar, we could get rid of all of them.
Doesn't matter who you get rid of at that point.
Yes,
If you're talking about keeping Lamar, it doesn't matter. But here's the thing: they can keep all those guys and pay Lamar.
Yep.
So,
yeah. It doesn't matter. Look, think about this. They don't want to pay Lamar a record-setting amount of money, right? That's just an ego thing. That's not, hey, we don't have the money. If they don't bring him back, they trade, and get however many picks. And I saw somebody ask earlier in the stream, how many picks is he worth? Shout out to Michael G. I'm gonna read that in a second. It's hard to quantify that because we've never had a superstar, just be available like this, right? But whoever they replace him with, they're going to have to make a substantial investment in at quarterback, right? Because you're not going to get somebody that's super cheap because, you get what you pay for. Like, he's not going to be good. But even if you get a quarterback on a cheaper end, if you get somebody that's $25 million per year, you say, oh, that's nothing for a quarterback. That's still $25 million that you tied up into a guy who's average at best, right? And if you're getting a slightly, better above average, or if you want to say good, we end up getting Aaron Rodgers to come over here or something like that. Well, he ain't gonna come for nothing, and he still won't be as good as Lamar Jackson, right, especially on this team.
Well, and again, like you said, I think the reality is, they don't want to pay Lamar the fully guaranteed contract. All the owners are trying to avoid that, right? Which is collusion, which is illegal, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Let's say they all came to that decision by themselves. They don't want to pay Lamar that much money, but they know also that the fact is they've neglected the offense so much that it's not just Lamar they have to pay. And like you said, they have to put it in a significant investment. So it's the $250 million, whatever it is Lamar's asking for. We don't know exactly, but 200 plus million fully guaranteed. Plus we have to go out and get top flight wide receiver, and at least one, but more than likely, two. And they're probably looking at that and saying, man, we don't want to do all of that, right? We don't want to fix the O-line, properly, because you got to replace Kevin Zeitler. You got to get a real answer at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get a real answer at left guard, and you got to go and get the wide receivers. You got to lock up the running back spot. I mean, who knows what you're doing with JK and Gus, both of them coming off of those major injuries. They didn't play full seasons or anything. But you had to build up that entire offense. And they probably look at it and say, you know what, it's just going to be a whole hell of a lot cheaper to just start with a rookie quarterback and rebuild that way.
Yeah. And let me bring up Marco G's comment. Appreciate the donation. Says, I'm changing my primary care physician from Dr. Vic to someone else. No wonder I'm only 28 and got joint problems. He even prescribed me an expired icy hot cream from 2020. Hope Lamar don't take his advice like I did. I hate hearing that stuff, man. Like I said, even if Lamar just decided I could play, but I am going to hold out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what? Right? So what? They were petty all year by not giving them any help. Because if we're going to take that leap and say Lamar, despite his actual what he said about his injury, was even what the team was saying about the injury, or what's been reported about his injury, despite him not actually being able to play, you want to believe that he's just holding out. If we're going to take that leap, if we're going to take that leap, right, then we can take the leap and say the team been trying to sabotage Lamar.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it goes both ways. So if you just went and brought in a little bit of talent, you didn't even try to trade for a solid wide receiver. You said we're going to trade for Roquan Smith and then we'll pick up Deshaun Jackson off the street.
Yeah.
And Andy Isabella, right? Like you actively tried to make this team worse on the offensive side. We can make that leap and say, no, you sabotage the offense and you got what you asked for.
That's not even a leap. You traded Hollywood and did absolutely nothing to replace him.
Nothing
Nothing at all.
You didn't draft a single wide receiver.
And you could have had a really, really good one in round 2, and it wouldn't have affected anything.
You drafted a punter and a fullback with 4. You had 4 or 5 fourth-round picks, and you said, let's get a punter, let's get a fullback, let's get 2 tight ends.
DJ Malone says, where do y'all think Lamar ends up? I'm glad you asked, sir. I see Miami in the chat, and that's that's been a popular spot. They have the wide receivers. As they said, Lamar's from Miami. I don't think that the owner in Miami wants Lamar. I don't. We know that he wanted to go after Tom Brady, and apparently he really, really likes Tua. So I don't think that they're going to be as interested as people assume they are, right? And I mean, they pushed Buffalo to the limit with their 3rd round or their 3rd string, 7th round rookie. Shut up, Noah. The answer is, in fact, Carolina, because in Carolina you can get the 9th overall pick, right, which can get you Anthony Richardson, probably, most likely. But even if not, that will put you in position to trade up for whatever quarterback you want. But along with the 9th pick and assorted other picks, you can get yourself a nice edge rusher, Brian Burns, or maybe a nice lockdown corner in J.C. Horn. And we know how Baltimore loves their defensive players, and they have a massive hole at corner right now, a massive hole where Marcus Peters used to be. If you could just slide J.C. Horn in there, get picks, and also get your next quarterback, who says no?
Like I said, there's a lot of teams that can offer a lot, and I just don't think.
But you can't name anybody who can offer better talent.
Yes, I can.
Who?
Detroit could offer. They could. I mean,
they don't have any corners that they can offer that are as good as them.
They have Darius Slay. Oh no, he's with.
No, they jettisoned all of their good secondary players. He's with Philly. They have bust Jeff Okudah.
They got all the wide receivers. But
Baltimore doesn't want wide receivers.
They got draft picks. They got Aiden Hutchinson that they just drafted.
But Detroit, their GM loves Jared Goff, and that's not a I'm just saying that because he's our quarterback right now. He loves Jared Goff, and he's never thought of him as a bridge quarterback. They're going to stick with Jared Goff. Yeah, and it's going to be the end of him there.
Sure, but, the Browns love they love Baker Mayfield until they're like, oh wait, we can get Deshaun Watson.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they loved him. No, there are a lot of teams out there that could offer stuff. We'll see, man.
I'm not saying that nobody else can make good offers. I'm saying you can't name a team that has the young talent that Carolina has, and they're willing to move it because Carolina has already shown that they are willing to move those players.
Not Brian Burns.
Yes, they said that they would be willing to move Brian Burns when it was for Deshaun Watson. They weren't willing to move him to the Rams, but when it was for Deshaun Watson, and a second, god damn it. But when it was Deshaun Watson, and Cleveland said we want 2 out of the 4 of Horn, Chin, Burns, and Brown, they said yes.
Allegedly, and then they said, "Oh, well, wait, we gotta pay him too."
Well, they said, "Well, we can't pay the rapists like that."
It's look. I mean, outside of the off the field, outside the off the field stuff, it's going to be the same situation. You're gonna have to give up a lot, and you're gonna have to pay. I don't know if Tepper wants to do that.
I think he would very much be okay with paying for a guy like Lamar. He didn't want to pay for Deshaun, which I understand because 1, you have all of the off-field baggage, and 2, Lamar is just a better quarterback.
And even before Deshaun, he was trying to get Matt Stafford.
He was. And Matt Stafford said no. So
I hear Tom Brady going to be available.
More fool him for going and winning a Super Bowl with Sean McVay. Whatever.
Who you think somebody owner like David Tepper wants more, Tom Brady or Lamar Jackson?
Tom Brady going to the Raiders.
Oh, okay.
The
Raiders are broke.
And I will answer that question. It is definitely Lamar because he wants a long-term answer.
No. He said he wants. He wants to make a splash move. He wants somebody.
And Lamar is a major splash.
Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. He's got the name.
Okay? Yeah, no, he's got the name. I'm not saying he's not a splash, but he's a 1-year splash, and he's nowhere near the player Lamar Jackson is. And Lamar Jackson is a splash acquisition as well. He's a former MVP.
Listen, we're talking about a team that spent a second round pick for Sam Darnold, and then what did they? Well, they didn't. Did they trade for Baker, or they just picked him up? I think
they traded for Baker.
I mean, look, B.
They didn't trade much for him. But.
Listen, man. They don't make the best decisions.
That's fine. They're also going to have a new head coach, and Matt Rule was the one making the decisions before.
Matt Rule said, "Hey, he didn't make the picks." Okay, he said that was all Fitterer.
Yeah, Matt Rule is a goddamn liar. Okay.
All right, shout out to George Pickens. He makes an appearance, even though he's been eliminated for weeks. Says, "How is Ravens flock doing?" Shout out to the Ravens for not taking me in the draft, because now that Lamar is going to leave, I stick with Mittens. See you all next year. Hashtag NFL Young Boy. All right. Shout out to George Pickens, a regular viewer and contributor to the show, along with Kenny Pickett. Sometimes he makes donations as well. All right. Appreciate that. So yeah, I don't think it's Carolina.
I know that's because you're a hater. It's fine. Go ahead.
I was just about to say I would glad to be wrong about that. Like, if he's going to go anywhere else, obviously, for selfish reasons, you're a Panthers fan, and we cover Panthers on the show as well. That would be great for this channel if he went right to Carolina. But I don't think that's where he ends up. And there is Kenny Pickett. Speaking of the man himself,
they're probably like hanging out together watching, right?
Yeah, I think so. Said, had it been me, my Mittens would have gotten across that line, and not straight up, but across. his little mittens, he'd have done this.
But DJ, if not Carolina, who I'm going to go ahead and continue to disagree with Jose, has the best offer. But if not Carolina, I think that you really got to watch the Jets. I think that they're going to be extremely aggressive in fixing their quarterback issue.
Yes. Jets. Woody Johnson has spoken, and he is scared to throw some dollars for an elite QB. Another team that ain't afraid. And
he also a racist, so whatever.
I mean, listen, we're talking about owners. You can just any one of the 32 teams, right? But another team that won't be afraid to spend money, that has already, their coach has already come out and said as much. Patriots, right? The Patriots is another one. I mean, he was very non-committal on Mac Jones. Mac Jones was the man a year ago, B. He was top 100 NFL players in the league. And now, look, man, I like the guy. I wish him well. Where is he going to be next year? I can't say. I can't call it.
I don't like the guy, and I don't wish him well.
That's what Bill Belichick was saying about him. Bill Belichick said, "Yeah, I'm going to be back next year." What about Mac? Mac is Mac. But he could end up in either one of those places. But the Jets I think, will be very aggressive. There'll be a few teams. I think there'll be some surprise teams that we're not talking about that will throw their hat in there. I know you don't like hearing about this, but I could see San Francisco going after them.
Oh yeah, no, they should. They absolutely should.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's not it. I mean, he's not. And listen, I wouldn't be taking the if it were just Brock versus Trey Lance. Okay, whatever. Play out the season, let them kind of battle it out in camp and see who's better. But you only have one opportunity to get a player like Lamar. Usually it's zero. Usually a player like that never becomes available, right? So if he becomes available, you throw Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, and all your picks into a nice little gift basket, and you send them down to Baltimore, or across to Baltimore, I guess.
So I mean, could drop, but shout out to Drop Boy Kicks. Are you a Raiders fan? I'm just curious because he's typed a few things in here saying that the Raiders can get investors, a lot of Vegas investors, to pay for Lamar, right? Raiders can open up the checkbook with Vegas investors. But he says it's not going to happen with the Jets. Why wouldn't it happen with the Jets, but with the Raiders? The Jets owner has the money. he can just cut the check. Mark Davis doesn't have the money. He has to find investors. And if he could get investors to kick out money just like that, then why is the coach still there?
Right.
Because the reports that came out were he wanted to fire Josh McDaniels, but he couldn't cut the check for Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, the same thing with John Gruden.
Right. So if it's as simple as, hey, I can get some people to invest and I can get the money for Lamar, why weren't you already doing that so you can get rid of your mistakes at head coach?
And why would he do that? Why would he sell essentially pieces of the team off to acquire a player?
Right.
He's making money just fine with the team.
And
he just doesn't have a lot of money in the bank.
And the rumor is he's trying to get Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to pull that
off.
Or
Jimmy
still going to cost
Garoppolo.
money. Yeah. Yeah. But the Jets could.
Well, because he won't have to pay him all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that's going to be his new investor.
Yeah.
Danny said, I would never want to see Lamar go into the Jets. Fan base, a bunch of clowns. That's every fan base, Danny. You're going to find clowns in every single fan base.
Danny, you are part of a fan base that said maybe Tyler Huntley's better than Lamar.
Yeah.
That's the fan base you belong to. you belong to the fan base that said let James Prochet cook.
Yeah. Yeah. House says Jets don't want a black franchise QB. Well, no, that's the Giants.
It's also the Jets.
Yeah. Well, Robert Saleh says, bring me Lamar. So,
what's up, Rock?
Hey, what's going on, Rock? Thanks for coming through. Hey. A few more comments. We've been going for over an hour, still over 120 people in here. Hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. We'll go a little bit longer, read some of these comments in here. Blunts Otter says, nah, San Francisco would never. Shanahan doesn't like mobile QBs. They just drafted one. QBs he didn't even want Trey Lance. Yes, he did want Trey Lance. They wanted to trade it up to get him. They absolutely wanted Trey Lance. You don't trade up in the first round. What do you go? 2 or 3? Third? Yeah. You don't trade up to third to draft somebody that you don't want. Nah, man. Nah. That's not how it works. They absolutely want Trey Lance, which is why Brock Purdy, as good of a story as he is, will not be sniffing that starting job next year. Doesn't matter what they say in the offseason. Doesn't matter what gets reported. When the season starts, it will be Trey Lance behind center unless they trade for Lamar.
Thank you, DJ. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Let's see. Cam says, yeah, some other teams can have Lamar lose in the wild card round for them. What a massive loss for us. Wait, yeah. Okay. Have Lamar. You think Lamar's not worth it? Is that what you're trying to say? Other team can have Lamar losing a wild card round for them.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
cool.
Okay. I mean,
yeah, he's a much bigger money guy. He costs a lot more than a coach, and they can't afford to fire their coach.
Right. He said he's a Raiders fan, hoping Lamar stays. Yeah.
Like in terms of if you're saying that he's going to bring in money, well, so will Tom Brady. Probably more. Yeah. That second part says, he wished that Lamar would have stayed on the sidelines. We addressed that earlier. Injured players don't travel with the team. Yeah.
So that's why you didn't see him out there. Chris Sims says Shanahan wanted Mac Jones and he's good friends with Shanahan. Everybody's good friends with the Shanahans. What you call it? Shannon Sharp is good friends with the Shanahans. He never said anything like that. Like, people talk in the media.
So what y'all are saying is that John Lynch went and traded up and drafted a quarterback that his head coach didn't want. The head coach who he's tied to at the hip. Because if Kyle Shanahan fails, John Lynch is also fired. So you think that he intentionally caused a rift there to draft Trey Lance over Mac Jones?
Right.
A quarterback who didn't go until like 16, by the way.
Right. Yeah, I can't see it.
Or is it that, Shanahan's dad didn't like super talented quarterbacks, but Kyle Shanahan realizes that the more versatile players that you have on the field, the harder it is to defend your offense.
Yeah. Good point. Let's read a couple more comments. Get up out of here. Man, y'all, man. Listen. Shout out to Jared Green. I ain't see you in there. Shout out to Jared, man. He says, like I said in Coach's show, if we get rid of Lamar, Ravens fans get ready for the Kyle Bowler and Chris Redmond type seasons. Yeah, we need to realize we will never find Lamar again. No, me and B have discussed this offline, and that's exactly what would happen. We're gonna have those years. It will get ugly before it gets better, because what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a downgraded quarterback, and the team isn't built on offense, so the offense is just gonna look significantly worse. And God forbid you have more injuries, right? Because the train is still going to be here. It's just going to be some bad years. We're going to have to fire our coaches, because you can't go from having Lamar being in the playoffs to not having Lamar and not sniffing the playoffs and keep your coaching job. So Harbaugh will be out, whether he steps down, gets fired, or whatever. And then you got to get a brand new coach, and then you got to try to find a quarterback, and then you got to build that offense up. And maybe they're good right away, which is rare that happens. More likely, you're going to have to build that team up again, right? And on the defensive side, because if you want to be a defensive stalwart, you have to constantly replenish that side. This defense next year is not going to be that good. Calais Campbell is going to retire. Justin Houston is going to retire. JPP probably won't be here. Those are three guys that we really rely on our defense that aren't going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Peters not going to be here.
Chuck Clark not going to be there.
Chuck Clark not going to be here.
Find a new person to beat on every week.
I mean, that's a lot of turnover.
Yeah,
that's a. So when we're talking about
a lot of turnover, especially with a young defensive coordinator.
Yeah. So when we're talking about what they need on offense, if they get rid of Lamar, they can't even begin to address that if they have to replenish some of these positions, because David Ojabo is not going to come in and beat Justin Houston, right? This year. There is no answer to replace Calais Campbell on the team. There is no answer to replace Marcus Peters on the team. So they're going to have to go outside and look for that. Mm-hmm. And cornerback especially, that's going to cost money.
Yeah.
So it's they better put all their focus on signing Lamar. There's a report from Ian Rappaport that says that's the plan. The plan is to not let Lamar go. Either they're going to get a deal done, or they're just going to let him play out the year on the franchise tag.
Yeah, I mean, because this year.
Oh, I see. Okay, so Ken was saying that Lamar lost the game, but they were informing him that Lamar didn't play. So you just didn't actually watch, or you just don't watch football, because if you watch football, Lamar's been out for 6 weeks.
But
he should have played. So Cam, we're gonna have to put you in timeout for a minute, bro. You didn't know that Lamar.
No, I think he knew. I think he was just saying he didn't think that Lamar would have won the game. But it's a ridiculous point to make regardless. And to say that a guy should play when he has an injury that may require surgery is ridiculous. It's nonsense.
Yeah. I want you go sit in the corner and think about that for a minute, okay? Go get a bowl of cereal. Think about that. Think about what you said. Shout out to Bridget Kelsey says Shanahan wanted to get rid of Jimmy G because he ain't mobile. That's right. Shanahan wants a mobile QB. He drafted Purdy and he is mobile. There you go. All right. I couldn't imagine. He said, no, don't get Trey Lance. I can't imagine he went to the GM and said, don't get Trey Lance. I want to get Mac Jones, who will go later. We can get somebody that's very talented at number. They weren't at 3. They traded up to 3, but we can get somebody where we're at, and we can get Mac Jones later on in the draft, and we're gonna be straight. And he said, nope, I'm trading up, and I want Trey Lance.
Right.
I can't imagine that.
No, because that's not what happened. There was just a lot of media smoke about Mac Jones because the media loves Mac Jones. And that was never who they were going to draft because he's not that good.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see if Trey Lance turns out to be that guy. He just hasn't. He's been extraordinarily unlucky with injury so far. But he should be back next year, and we'll see what he's got.
Yeah. What are you looking at, B?
No, I'm just reading some of the comments here.
Yeah. Jonathan Washington Jr. says Bernard Paul's session with Lamar is very weird for a grown man. Yeah, he's a weird dude, man, and he's just he's a clout chaser. Like he's just looking for attention, right? The one time Lamar, called him out on social media, he was making all the media rounds. He was looking to be on everybody's show, everybody's stream. He's just thirsty for attention. And then once his 15 minutes were up, nobody's talking about him again, and he's trying to get that attention once more by tweeting out and criticizing them. But Lamar ain't gonna fall for that again. Lamar ain't going to even talk about him. He's super irrelevant. He's super irrelevant for being a former player, and as much talking as he does. Players don't have. It's not hard for a player to get a media gig. There's all kinds of media outlets out there. Whether a major media outlet, online, whatever, podcast, whatever. It's not hard to get a little buzz going. But Pollard, nobody cares about him. Free and D says Anthony Richardson ain't going at 9. All right. Okay. All right. Free and D Kuiper.
If you say so, Free. Cool. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna try and remember when you've ever been right in here. That's what I'm gonna do for a little bit.
Josh Hoffman says, if you add Bernard, he will respond. Yeah, of course.
You fool! And I want to startle someone on Twitter who says no one ever. No one ever criticizes Harbaugh. All right. Okay, Blunson, Otters.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Says, Snyder forced RG3 on Kyle and his dad. Yes, that's not relevant to the situation that we're talking about in San Francisco, though.
So this is the difference between the owner and the GM, right? So it wasn't the Redskins GM. Was it Bruce Allen? It wasn't him that overruled the Shanahans. It was Dan Snyder, and Dan Snyder is a psychopath.
Yes. Right.
He wanted RG3 by any means necessary. He had Mike Shanahan, not Kyle Shanahan. You're saying it was Mike and Kyle. It wasn't Kyle's team. It was Mike's team. Right? Mike Shanahan did not want RG3. So there's a huge difference there. So you're talking about the owner telling the father, Mike Shanahan, this is who you're going with. And at that point, he should have fired Mike Shanahan. But he didn't. This is Kyle Shanahan, not Mike Shanahan. This is Kyle. Yes, I know Mike Shanahan, is still, heavily involved, whatever, he helps the son out, but he's not the coach. This is Kyle's team. And we're not talking about the owner overruling Kyle. We're talking about the GM. And the GM did not overrule Kyle on this.
And pretty, it doesn't have to be Carolina taking him. He's an extraordinarily talented player. It's just, people think that he needs time to develop. But players like that go high in the draft, especially at that position. That was Josh Allen a few years ago. Josh Allen couldn't play, but he had all of the tools, and he went 7th. And they took a couple years to develop him, and now he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah. What's going on? Keeping it real. Shout out to you. This, if you guys aren't subscribed, he is a Roundtable approved channel. Make sure you hit subscribe over there. If you watch this for a good amount of time, you've seen it on our show. We're going to bring him back on our show because he's also an NBA fan, and we cover NBA a lot when football season is over. So shout out to you. Says, what's good, guys? What an expected loss that was. Yeah, the Ravens showcased all their issues in one game. I would advocate for a change, but I have my doubts of that happening. Mm-hmm. Now onto the NBA talks. Yes, indeed. Yeah, look, we're going to speculate. We're going to talk about it. What me and B have been saying since we started the channel is we give our opinions on what we think the team should do, right? But we don't call the shots over there. Okay, we give our opinions on what we think the team needs, whether it's realistic or not, because sometimes we say things and fans be like, oh, they're never going to do that. Yeah, we know that. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't do it, right? When they traded for Yannick Ngakoue, we went that far back. When they went and got Yannick Ngakoue, who's a good player, we're just like, no, that's not the key. That's not the missing piece. We need wide receiver. Mm-hmm. oh, you know, they don't invest in wide receiver. Yeah, we know, but Des Bryant is not the answer, right? Who knew Des Bryant wasn't the answer? That's our thing. So we're going to discuss that a lot in the offseason, what we think the Ravens should do. Whether you believe Lamar is going to stay or not, me being a Ravens fan, I want Lamar to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm going to keep saying they need to work out a deal with them. They need to pay him, you know, whatever he's looking for, secure that, because as bad as it looks right now, chat, as bad as it looks, it only takes a handful of moves to turn things around, and the future is bright.
Yeah. Like, honestly, in Baltimore, it would take one move. Well, I mean, I guess technically, you bring back Lamar, and you bring in one really good receiver, and that is a team that's challenging for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's really it. The defense is good. JK is good. You know, Gus is there backing him up. The O-line is solid enough. You have Mark Andrews, and Lamar is a great player. You give him one other great player to play with, and you know, tonight is a blowout for Baltimore. And you're not worried about, I mean, you're not even going on the road to Kansas City next week. You probably have the bye if you bring in a player like AJ Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, something like that.
I would say, you know, a change at offensive coordinator. I know Harbaugh always brings in his friends, but you got to get somebody that can bring in a more balanced offense.
I think even without a change in coach, if they had real talent at wide receiver, they would be competing for Super Bowls, because Greg Roman, you know, in and of himself, by himself, can't stop Lamar plus DeAndre or Lamar plus Tyreek or whatever. He can't do that.
Yeah,
you know, he can't shut down that offense himself. So, I mean, ideally, yes, you would want to move on from Greg Roman and bring somebody else in. But if we're talking about the fewest number of moves, it's re-sign Lamar, bring in one high-end receiver, and you're competing for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And shout out to our guy, Engraven Vids. He was streaming through the whole game. Yeah, he says, how do y'all think self-preservation is going to go? Man, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. Like, a lot hinges upon Lamar getting re-signed. What I think is going to happen, if they don't bring back Lamar, Harbaugh could quit. I think EDC should quit. I've said that a few times. I think if they don't re-sign Lamar, EDC, you cannot have your name tied to this, man. Right? You do not want to be the guy that let Lamar Jackson in his prime walk out the door because you just didn't want to pay him. Right? You put that onus strictly on Steve Bisciotti. But Harbaugh, the only self-preservation move that he can make if Lamar leaves is to quit, because whoever they bring in after Lamar is going to be a downgrade, guaranteed. And there's nothing else going on in that offense. You are guaranteed to have a losing season next year.
Mad disrespectful to Sam
Darnold. Bridget says, by the way, I'm a Falcons fan. Okay, shout out to the Falcons fan. Okay. Says, but Lamar fan as well, and watched the game tonight, rooting for the Ravens. If Lamar was playing, y'all definitely would have won that game. Yeah. Get Lamar some weapons, Baltimore. Hey, salute to you. Appreciate you coming through. Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, but the Falcons are another place that could put their bid in for Lamar. They put their bid in for Deshaun Watson. That could be a place.
Yeah, they would take off instantly with that offense. You're looking at Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Cordell Patterson, Tyler Algier, and Lamar.
That's right. Wait, what was that? What was that donation that came through, B?
That was from KP, and he's saying 49ers offensive assistant for OC. I mean, you got to be careful with stuff like that, because what you're seeing in San Francisco is Kyle Shanahan's office, and Kyle Shanahan's running it. Maybe some of those other guys have learned how to run it effectively, but when you have situations like that, you want that guy. You don't want one of the disciples necessarily.
Yeah, sometimes you get something that works, sometimes you don't.
Yeah,
Brandon Staley. Yeah, you're rolling the dice, but yeah, but do your due diligence is basically what you got to do, right? You bring them in.
And I think this is the same guy, Chris Forrester, offensive line coach and run game coordinator. That's the same guy that was doing coke, I believe.
It is. Is that him? I think that is him.
I think that's him. I think it is.
Don't want that guy.
And their other assistant head coach running
for
back,
San Francisco.
Anthony Lynn. Don't want that. Brian Greasy. Don't want that.
Was it Chris Forrester? Do you guys know this story? We talked about this on Wednesday. Let me see. Let me pull. That's him. That is him. Okay. All right. Chris Forrester. If that's what you're talking about, Chris Forrester used to coach for what's his name?
Adam Gase.
Adam Gase in Miami. That was the Jets. It was in Miami. He got fired. He got fired from Miami, and the Jets hired him. But this happened in Miami, and there's a tape out there. You can find it. It's probably on Twitter still. He is in. They're at the facility, and he videotapes himself in another room while a team meeting is going on.
I mean, listen. Yeah, he was supposed to be in the meeting. He was on his way. He was just trying to let his lady know he was all right. He was thinking about her.
Yes.
His lady happened to be not his wife, but a woman who worked at a strip club, who was not at all his lady, but but enjoyed the money and gifts.
Yes. And he was doing lines of coke on camera, professing his love to I forget her name.
No affairs, not even FaceTime. He was recording a video to send her, I think.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Doing lines of coke off of the Miami Dolphins office furniture.
If that man gets an interview, man, Brian Flores is going to be sitting there like, yes, you got a job where? Okay, all right. Let me add them to the lawsuit.
I can't believe dude's still in the league.
Hey, thank you, Bridget. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Appreciate it. Yeah, that guy should not be in the league. No. He should be finished on camera at the facility.
It was like a 5-minute video. Yo.
He didn't look like he regretted any moment of it either.
Not at all. Not at all. Oh my God.
And Rob says, I don't think Harris will quit. I think he said, I think he and the front office there really think they've done a good job, and Lamar should be grateful. They think that right now, but losing, especially with Steve Bisciotti. Steve Bisciotti can be up here when you're winning. When you're losing, he'll be right down here. They can feel that right now. They can feel a certain way right now because they're just coming out the playoffs. But next season, and they can't string together enough wins, and that offense looks like a complete joke, and they have, 2 wins by midseason, things will change real quick. And that's with any owner. You can't listen to owners. That's why you can't listen to owners when they say, "Oh, well, we'll give you time." Your boy Matt Rule was just talking about that. Oh, I thought I had 4 years, right? He thought he had 4 years to just sit there and just do whatever, and he got 2 years, right?
Compared to LT playing after doing the line, but LT is one of the greatest of all time, and this dude got fired because
If you're elite at your job, you can do that. This man isn't elite at anything.
You still shouldn't. We're not advocating that. Don't do coke at work.
No, you shouldn't. But rules are different for elite level talent.
There were no rules for Lawrence Taylor.
No. What else we got here? 69 likes.
Yeah, go nice. Go ahead.
Let's get those likes up.
Get that over 70 for us real quick.
Bridget said Atlanta would love to have Lamar, but our defense so sorry. Bottom of the league in damn near every category. Expect scoring 21 sacks. Give Lamar is y'all defense, and we got a deal. Well, look. Yes, defense you can work on when you have an amazing talent like that. Hey, Kansas City, they weren't a great defense, but the offense is great, and then you slowly just add, pieces to the defense.
You got a couple pass rushers.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is every team that you play is going to be one-dimensional because you're going to be scoring so many points. And the defense is going to look much better.
Yeah. Like B said, he took the words out right out of my mouth. When you have a high-power offense, it's not hard to make your defense look good.
Yeah.
Right. The year that the Saints won the Super Bowl, the defense wasn't good, but they were number one in turnovers. Right. They got a lot of turnovers, and they did enough to keep the other team from outscoring them. That's all you really need in the end.
And they've already got one good corner down in Atlanta and AJ Terrell. I'm not sure what the rest of their secondary is looking like right now, but that's a thing they could get that, because you only need to be, around league average maybe. Like, you don't have to be great or anything.
Yeah, once again, the Giants fan wants to tell you how special his Giants player is. Okay. Yes, he was a special player though, for sure. For sure. All 22 films on YouTube is breaking down perfectly how stupid that QB sneak was. J.K. Dobbins told the reporter he should have gotten the ball and was upset about it. It's on Twitter. Oh, okay. Got you. And salute to all 22 films. It was a bad play call. I was in Coach's stream, and just from the get-go, he said, he's like, that was a bad call.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, he put that on Roman 100%. You hand the ball off.
John didn't though. He put that on Tyler.
What's up, Nitro? Nitro says, man, that game was terrible. I was hysterical.
Nitro, when are you not hysterical, bro? Come on now. Right. Come on now, Nitro.
More hysterical, or are we talking about like Nitro levels of hysterical, or like Super Saiyan Nitro hysterical? What are we talking about here?
No, the play call wasn't fine. They were too far away for you to be running quarterback sneak. It wasn't a fine play call.
Yeah, I mean, how can you perfectly execute that play? Like, either, yes, I mean, secure the ball, sure, but they were not going to score on that play, right? I mean, they didn't get a push, even though everybody's behind them trying to push them in there, and you weren't close enough. So, what was it? Third down? It had been fourth down. Yeah, you kick a field goal, right?
What you could have done, you could have handed it to your second round running back, who you love.
Yeah.
Who's been running like a madman since he came back off of IR, who's led the league in rushing since he came back.
Iceberg said, even if you stop JK, you kick the field goal there. Yeah, mm-hmm. I agree. He said he was going crazy. Again, like, I mean, we talking about like, normal Nitro level crazy, or like, like you're bursting eardrums crazy. Jonathan Watson says, how many times are we going to chalk things up to poor execution? Yes. Let me stop right there before I finish the rest of it. Poor execution is a coaching issue, right? What is the coach's job? A coach's job isn't just to draw X's and O's and say, okay, go out there and do it. They're supposed to make sure the players execute it, right? Yeah. So play calling and execution is still falling on the coach. He says, and not to blame the coach's staff. Oh, he said they chalk things up to poor execution and not to blame the coach's staff. Isn't them consistently not executing a coaching issue? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely right.
And Willie, he says they had 8 pushers behind him. He jumps in the air a mile from the goal line. Hey, if they were a mile from the goal line, why was a quarterback sneak a good call?
You're right.
Because it wasn't. Really.
Right. You might as well have taken a knee.
It's a bad call.
What's that stat be? You take three knees in a row, you win the game.
No, nobody's ever lost after they've taken 3 knees. Teams who take 3 knees are undefeated.
Yeah, so we didn't see what JK saw in Nitro, but people have been putting in the chat what he said. Yeah, it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating when you don't have your best player out there. It's frustrating when there isn't anybody else that can make plays. There's nobody else on the offense that can make a play. I keep telling you guys, Mark Andrews isn't a playmaker. Very good, but he's not a playmaker. He had a nice catch today. That was a nice catch, Didn't do anything after that. Right?
No, he caught 5 of his 10 targets for 70-some yards.
And look, good player. But we don't have anybody that can take over. And that's what's missing from this offense, right? And to be that close and knowing that nobody else can make a play. Because if Lamar is in there on that last drive tonight, absolutely, they come out with that win. I don't even think it comes down to that if Lamar's playing. I think they just blow them out. The way this defense was playing tonight, they played a really good game. And the Bengals were very sloppy. And if Lamar was playing tonight, I think it would have been a blowout. And yeah, that is frustrating knowing that, this coaching staff can't get you right. There's no real talent on this team that can get you right. And, if you're JK, somebody who, believes he can do more out there, is not even getting enough snaps. Yeah, it's very frustrating. Which one are you reading, B?
Looking at Bridget's comment here. That was the difference in the game. His defense had Joe Burrow and the offense looking average at best. Without that defensive touchdown, Ravens more than likely win. That was crucial.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
That's the game.
That's what happens when you have lesser talent on the offense, and you just and you have a poorly coached offense. You don't get things like that done.
Yeah.
You don't finish on that drive. You don't finish on the last drive where they had a chance to tie the game.
So, shout out to Given Quality for Life says if LJ wasn't injured, the way the defense played, he would have won easily. Yep. Also says MP24 doesn't need a return. Now, let me ask y'all this because I think that's the consensus, right? Marcus Peters is not coming back, and a lot of you guys don't want him back. Who on the team is better than Marcus Peters outside of Marlo, right? Like who?
No, he's just Marlon until they start winning.
Well, it's Marlo.
You can't be Marlo.
No, he's had an excellent year. I'm not
Marlo.
No, he's Marlo. But no, he can't be Marlo. He is
Marlo. I'm not even gonna say it on the field. You can't be Marlo until you have one reasonable opinion on Twitter.
No. We're not doing that. But who on the team?
Ridiculous person I've ever seen on Twitter.
Yeah, but who on a team? Who on a team outside of him is better than Marcus Peters? Right. No one. Right. Jared says no one. Okay, so that means we have to. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up. Yeah, I'm gonna read that in a second. But that means we have to either spend a high draft pick on bringing in somebody, or spending the money on bringing in somebody.
Does it mean that?
Yeah.
May I offer an alternative solution? Might you trade Lamar Jackson for one J.C. Horn? Still on his rookie deal, one of the top corners in the league, solves that problem instantly.
Sure. What if we trade for Sauce Gardner?
They're not gonna trade Sauce.
Oh, okay.
But that's a fantastic option as well. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
Sauce was amazing this year. Tariq was amazing as well. Hey, so if you can get any one of those guys, listen, I don't know why you're trying to sabotage our guy Gino, but if that's the road you want to go down, you want to be that guy, go ahead.
But no. But my point is this is more resources you guys spend on replacing somebody on the defensive side, which is why we keep saying on this channel, hashtag defund the defense. If you're new here, that's our hashtag. Hashtag defund the defense. That's a hashtag that we use to describe what's going on in Baltimore. It's not to say, don't invest in defense. We're saying the defense has gotten more than enough of an investment. Stop putting all your resources into the defense because they're never going to be expected to win the game, right? You're expecting Lamar Jackson to win the game. And if you're not putting weapons around Lamar Jackson, if you're not protecting Lamar Jackson, you're doing a disservice. So stop spending $100 million on your inside linebacker. Stop spending $70 million on your free safety. Those aren't positions of need. Those are luxury positions, and neither one of those guys are going to be asked to win the game. Yes, they played well tonight, but they didn't win the game.
What's going on?
What's up, Sabir?
Thanks for coming through. I'll let you know, Sabir, this is not the first time they got exposed. They've been exposed many times without Lamar.
Yes.
So,
I mean, look, he missed 6 games this year. Was it 6 games last year?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So
And he's missed parts of other games as well.
out of the 12 games, there's one game last year that they won against Chicago. I think out of the 12 games, I'm not 100% sure. Somebody can look it up. Out of 12 games that Lamar didn't play and Tyler Huntley had to come in and start, or Anthony Brown, they've won 3. I believe it's like 3 games.
Free indeed. That's because Lamar's salary went up 20 plus million, and it literally added nothing to the offense, right?
Yeah. He does know that. Free and D is one of those people. He just likes to be a contrarian. He's gonna,
But just for argument's sake, let's say they actually spent more. Doesn't that more highlight the incompetence in EDC and Greg Roman and John Harbaugh, because they've got absolutely goddamn nothing on that offense? They cannot score at all. So what are you even talking about here?
Look, he's talking about I want to have an interaction with Brodny. That's what he's talking about.
Like you're talking about, they got more allocated to the offense. Yeah, they score 16 points a game without Lamar. So where's it allocated?
Yeah,
that's actually worthwhile.
So yeah, so invest more. And no, they didn't invest in the offense. Everybody knows that. Serotonin Light says, why is Owe a beast in taking off? Development under Harbaugh is trash. Can develop no one.
Owe played really well tonight. I mean, sort of well. He played really well for Owe tonight. He made some plays tonight.
Always.
I think he had a sack and a half tonight, right?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he had a sack and a half, and he did force that incompletion on the Bengals drive late, showing off that vertical.
Oh, I mean, I would say always a letdown, but we never expected Owe to be really anything. I mean, he is a letdown because he looked solid last year.
I guess it was just the one sack.
Okay,
sorry, the one sack, one tackle for loss, one QB hit, force that incompletion. That's cool.
All right. Couple more, and we are out of here. Okay, this is hashtag no 2 hours.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed because I gotta work tomorrow. Unlike y'all.
Oh, you gotta work tomorrow?
It's the worst.
House says they paid Ricard. Why isn't he doing more?
Because he's not good. And Coach has a theory on him and why he doesn't look explosive. Coach, and I believe it may have been Chris who brought up initially, that he just tried to put on too much weight. He tried to add too much strength, too much bulk, and that he can't really move the way he used to move. Mm-hmm. And that could be it. And if he leans out a little bit in this offseason and gets some of that explosion and athleticism back, maybe he'll be fine moving forward. But it was a terrible year.
Yeah. I believe this, Iceberg. He says MP is better next year. 2 years to recover from ACL. I do think he's not 100%, right? I think next year he'll look much better. But the problem is, look, we paid him to play at a certain level now, and he didn't have a great year. So, they're not going to want to re-up him and pay him when, he's older too. So you're not 100% sure that he's going to, get back to the way he used to be. But I do feel like he'll play better next year, 2 years removed from that.
And a lot of people are saying sign him back cheap, and I'm not so sure he'll be cheap.
No, that's why I don't think he'll be back. Yeah.
I don't think he'll want to come back to Baltimore on a team friendly deal, as opposed to going and making more money somewhere else, possibly.
Yeah. And Sabir, this will be the last one. We'll get up out of here. It says a lot of people don't take notice to the fact that even though they are a defensive club, they surrounded Flacco with wideouts. Flacco had receivers. He did when they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that wasn't even a defensive team when they won the Super Bowl. That defense was middle of the pack. Yeah, it was not a good defense when they won the Super Bowl. Now
I'll say this: when they paid Flacco, they took away everybody. They didn't bring back Torrey Smith. They traded Anquan Bolden. I'm not sure if that was they're trying to punish him. But I mean, they still brought in Steve Smith. They still gave him Steve Smith. They didn't leave him with nothing. But yeah, no. Like Flacco had a lot more to work with than with Lamar.
Yeah.
And, so.
And Free saying can't sign him if it ain't for less. Talking about Peters, absolutely. And that's how we both don't think he'll be back with the Ravens next year, and so that's just going to be another hole that they have to go out and try to fill. while they're trying to rebuild their offense from not having Lamar, not having any wide receivers. So it's not going to be great.
Yeah. All right. We are out of here. There's still over 90 people in here. Thank you for hanging out with us to the end of the stream. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. We do a live stream every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, the LBHT show. All right. Lots of fun. We cover Ravens like you seen tonight, and B's a Panthers fan. So that is a good bulk of our show, but we cover other sports stories, especially in the off season. We talk about a lot of things. NBA, UFC. If there's a major UFC fight on a Saturday night, more than likely after that fight, you will see us streaming. Also, if you're into boxing, we have another channel that we do with our brother OTR Mike, Ring Kings Podcast. So make sure you go over there and hit the subscribe button over there. We have a new episode dropping tomorrow afternoon. It's a documentary review on Kasim the Dream. Kasim Kasim Uma, who was a former child soldier from Uganda. Amazing story. Turned pro boxer, was a former junior middleweight champion, and it just chronicles the story of him just trying to get his life back, get his family back from that war-stricken country that he had to defect from. So make sure you guys go and check that out. That's dropping tomorrow at noon on Ring Kings Podcast. Anything else before we get out here, B?
You can also see us tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. over on Sip to Tally Films.
Yes.
Where we do the Ravens Roundtable with Coach Evans, with Chris Just Joking from the Deep Cover Pod, with OTR Mike, and with Hendo from Ravens Online Ungatekeepers.
Yes.
So we'll
putting
be
their
kind of going over the Ravens loss again.
Yes, I'm putting all the logos up there so you can go over there and hit subscribe on those channels as well. All right. So that is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. B, are you ready?
Yes.
He is ready. We will see you tomorrow on the Ravens Roundtable on Sip to Tally Films. Y'all have a great night. Be safe. We'll see you later today. Peace.